Well, it happened. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna make it quick because I gotta go. But obviously, I did not think that anything was gonna happen here. I knew that this team was losing. These Spurs are not the Spurs of old. These Spurs are not the team that, I grew up watching. Wembanyama's not fucking LeBron. He's not gonna do the 3-1 comeback. I knew that. Still hurts to see. Um, uh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, this team has so much going for them, and we did exactly what I wanted. Um, we put Dylan Harper in the game, and I was kind of like live tweeting slash live texting, I guess. But I was hanging out with some friends while I was watching the game, and they took Steph Castle out. And I get that he's not having a good offensive game, but we know that he's the best defender. Jalen Brunson does not play efficiently against him. And we always do this where we half-ass going all in on this young team. Because we finally put Dylan Harper in at the clutch situation because, he listens. And then we decide to take out Steph Castle and put Fox in instead. And I get it. Steph Castle's having a horrible offensive game. I get that. You know who's having a worse offensive game with more shots taken, with bad passes and bad turnovers? De'Aaron Fox. It, it's amazing to me that after after all that, we we still have this happening. Like, um, yeah, it's quite incredible to see, honestly. It's just pure stubbornness. And I guess we'll see what happens here. I doubt there's actually gonna be a trade. I think that we are trending towards Dylan Harper taking a starting role and De'Aaron Fox taking the bench role. Um, again, because of how bad the Spurs have been, I have been more into football recently, so I do know how contract restructuring works there. I don't know how it works in the NBA, but if there's a way that we can push that dead money, that is De'Aaron Fox's dead money, to further in the future, that way we can make sure that we can re-sign Steph Castle to the deal that he deserves. Yeah, that would be great. Again, this is a successful season. Um, like, to quote Giannis Antetokounmpo, "There's no such thing as failure in sports." Which I don't think is completely true. I do think that there is a level of failure, but this team didn't fail. Wemby proved that he was a top player in the league. He gets 3rd in the regular season MVP voting, wins a Western Conference championship with the Western Conference MVP. Um, Steph Castle just improves. Dylan Harper was 4th in Rookie of the Year, but the way that he played in the playoffs, there's a bunch of conversation about where he should be going further on. Like, like if there was a redraft done today, could he potentially even go number 1? To me, I think it's still going to be Cooper Flag, just because, generally speaking, good rookies don't get that kind of opportunity that Dylan Harper had. And we don't know if Cooper Flag would have ever done this or maybe even done better. But I think he's definitely number 2. He scored 25 points in a closeout game, and yes, he missed a bunch of big shots towards the end, including a free throw, but it was pretty tough. And I'm just angry because I I feel like we have these chances and we have the lineups and we know it's working and we change them. With 6 minutes left in the game, Wemby was sitting out. We attack Cat and we get away with it, and I'm very happy with that. But yeah, um, a lot of the fouling is tough, but again, we live in like a league that foul baiting is gonna work. We haven't worked on this unnatural shooting motion thing, so the Devin Vassell barely grazing Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson jumped into him, so it's a foul. That's gonna happen every time. Like, just got to be a little bit better than that. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I've just it's really upsetting because I think about this now and, Wemby does have a little bit of trouble with his, like, coordination and with the way that, because his coordination is mainly the reason that he gets these flagrant fouls. I think a lot of people are turning on him and calling him dirty. Honestly, I don't care enough to defend Wemby at this point in time. He just proved to me in the biggest moment that he couldn't come through and be clutch. Um, Now, he did a lot this season, and he's still young, but you know, Spurs loss is a Spurs loss. Like, it's gonna hurt anyway. But I think at the end of the day, we're gonna see a lot more out of Dylan Harper offensively. I think that if we look ahead to next season, we had our top scorers for the season were obviously Wemby at 1, De'Aaron Fox at 2, and Steph Castle at 3. I think Steph Castle will stay at 3, but maybe shoot the ball a little bit more efficiently. And I think he can become a great like passer. Um, but Dylan Harper may be that guy that we just pass the ball to, and he may be that second best um, scorer because in this one, Wemby shows his defensive prowess, but again, it's just not enough because if you want to show defensive prowess, you need to be dominant defensively. And I know it's an unfair um, assessment because shooting 50% from the field is a very good shot. So why can't you do 50% of your defense? Great. Defense is all about effort, and it just didn't look like Wemby was giving his full effort. I know he looked gassed the entire way. Again, missing like you can't be a big that prides yourself on the way you can shoot and miss those free throws down the stretch. And I think that we came together and made less rookie mistakes, but obviously Jalen Brunson was only guardable by one guy. And we saw this throughout the entire series. We played him one-on-one with Steph Castle, and he was playing horribly, inefficient through the first 3 games, and he had 82 points in 81 shots. It's, like, embarrassingly bad. And we decide to, not keep that chugging, but to instead do all these double teams and all that. And the double teams were sometimes working, don't get me wrong. But in crunch time, we're gonna have Dylan Harper guard him. And I think that's why Dylan Harper wasn't able to put the full offensive like power towards the end, where he misses those shots. He is spending a lot more energy and effort on defense guarding Jalen Brunson. I'm not saying that Dylan Harper's a bad defender by any means, but Jalen Brunson is a finals MVP. He's a second team all NBA player this season. He's the best player in this series. Like, and there's only one person that we have like not historical, but like proven data that can guard him. And we just don't use that. And it's frustrating because we like at this point, we just know better. And it wasn't a foul trouble thing for once with Steph Castle. And even if he is in foul trouble, you didn't want to play him down the stretch anyway. It is a rough, rough way to lose. But basketball is a hard sport. For y'all that are just seeing this and can tell that I'm a Spurs fan, I'm also a 49er fan. So I'm just a fan of teams that, well, in my lifetime, lose in the biggest moments. Obviously, before I was alive, these are two great franchises. And yes, the Spurs have won 2 during my lifetime, but one I was not old enough to remember. The other one was great, but um, yeah, this is tough. We have a long future ahead, and you know, I don't really have much else to do with my life, so I'm probably gonna keep talking about the Spurs on the internet. But yeah, I'm honestly, it's painful to lose on your home court, but at the end of the day, I'm not overly unhappy because I think the last game really did that for me. So at this point, I've settled in. I'm good. There's a fucking bug on me. Yeah. There's a long future ahead with this team, but the way that Wemby, I don't think I finished on this, but Wemby is just so frail. I really hope that we don't see injury concerns limit his ability. Again, Giannis only made 1 finals appearance in his entire career, and he's now in his 30s. It's great to make a finals appearance at 22 like LeBron did. LeBron doesn't make another one until he leaves the team, lets Cleveland rebuild a little bit, and then he comes back to the team when Cleveland is actually put together a somewhat like competent roster. Um, I will say the difference though is that the Spurs are a strong and smart organization, and there's a lot that you can blame on Wemby here. Again, comes out super strong. First 14 minutes of this game, he has 5 blocks. I didn't see any defensive pressure from him afterwards. Either the Knicks are just better at getting him on off rotations. I feel like I blacked out during this game, and I don't know exactly what happened, but again, this just feels horrible. Knicks in 5 came true. I realistically thought it was Knicks in 6, but yeah, they just had our number all year. They won 7 out of 9 times that we played. NBA Cup champions are now also the NBA Finals champions, which is pretty interesting for the NBA Cup and maybe the regular season. But yeah, if you enjoyed any of that, I'm depressed. Please like, subscribe. I usually don't ask, but please, I'm begging you. Yeah, it's cool.